Welcome to Rocks Talks. It's so good to see you all. Yeah, I was probably a blithering person. I wouldn't call myself a idiot last week. So on Friday. So if you saw that, I always told you I'm going to be candid here. I appreciate you so much. We are back home. If you could not tell, it's another white room. You've probably recognized the chair. The chair's going to change soon. That's happening. We got back from Boston on Sunday morning. We took the first flight out, and so we got back around 11:30. Had time to. My dad took us to lunch, and we got Baylor, and then we had time. We had plenty of time. We showered, relaxed, and then it was time for the Super Bowl. So today we're going to talk about the Super Bowl because how can you not talk about the Super Bowl today? And I'll share a little bit about this weekend. Also, PS, and by the way, I did post a video on my Instagram, Rocks Talks, where you can see a little bit of just kind of a tribute to my father-in-law. So let's talk Super Bowl, shall we? We shall. Okay, y'all. I've been telling you, I love football, so I'm not I'm not the 9% that's been increased because Taylor Swift is watching football. That's fine, but that's not me. I have the last four teams, I liked all of them. And they all had a good story. So we get to KC and the 49ers. It's like David versus Goliath. You have Mahomes, who arguably is going for this dynasty, and people want to say he's the best in the world. I can't say that because my husband is a masshole. So we are Brady fans. Um, versus the 49ers with Purdy, who was Mr. Irrelevant, was the last person picked in the draft. And then because of circumstances, ends up being the lead quarterback, the first string quarterback for the 49ers. And you also have the story of the 49ers lost to the Chiefs a couple years ago in the Super Bowl. So it's like, and McCaffrey, who's a beast, who won offensive player of the year. So what is going to happen? What's shaking bacon? I have to tell you, while I like both teams, I kind of wanted, not kind of, the 49ers to, I don't want it, not everyone deserves a trophy, but I would think I would have been happier if the 49ers won, honestly, truly. And just because of that story, and because I think their story was more compelling to me. That's why. Um, Game was a little boring, let's be real, and I felt like the 49ers could have won the game if in that first quarter, if they were well, of course, that fumble and some other things. I'm like, guys, come on. You can't do that. You can't give Mahomes any space because 10 points is nothing to him. He's come back in the Super Bowl twice with 10 points. You need to make it a bigger gap. They definitely won. 49ers definitely won the first half, but doesn't matter because the game is won. The Super Bowl's won in the second half or in overtime. I thought it was going to get to a second overtime. I did not see the end coming the way that it did. I didn't know who was going to win. I thought if it ended in the first overtime, it was going to be the 49ers. I feel for them. When they show them sitting all sad, I'm so sad for them. Happy for the Chiefs. Good on you. But I truly, in the heart of hearts, I wanted the 49ers to win. I'm seeing that. Or maybe I'm just getting more sympathetic to the team that loses. We'll see how that pans out in the Olympics because diehard US here when it comes to the Olympics. So let's talk about commercials because some of you watch for the game. Some of you watch for the commercials. That's the second reason you watched. Some of them were funny, but I feel like the commercials were funnier and better when I was younger. And that might be because I was younger, less immature, less wisdom. I don't know. The ones I did enjoy, I enjoyed that T-Mobile one where they were like auditioning for T-Mobile and they had all the stars. That was funny in the basement. They had J-Head and stuff. I thought that was really funny. And they had the Suits people. Suits had a day, right? So Suits people showed up in a bunch of commercials. Oh, the Judge Judy Beauty one was funny too. Don't even remember what that was for. Judge Beauty, but it was good. That one made me laugh. Other than that, I was super T-Mobile, the one with Jason Momoa and the two guys from Scrubs who are always in the T-Mobile commercial. That one was cute too. I don't understand the homes.com. I need to do some research. So it used to be apartments.com. They did some weird thing. Uh, and then they had all these homes.com with the woman from Saturday Night Live and then the guy from, that show is on the tip of my tongue. The one, the one that everybody loved that was very sarcastic. You know the one. That's the one. If you saw the homes.com commercials, you recognized him and you know the show. Schitt's Creek. I didn't really understand, but none of it made sense as to what homes.com is. And that's why I am okay, so this apartments.com, now you're doing homes.com. So you're like a Zillow. What is it? I'm so confused. And I clearly, it didn't get me off the couch to, or get on my phone and check it out. I thought my favorite commercial, which I thought was ingenious. I like the smart commercials. The Beyonce commercial, which they ended up playing twice because of overtime. They did a shortened version at the end of overtime. Was really good. Did you see it? It was a Verizon commercial. And I just thought it was great because she's trying to break the internet. And they had some humor where she's like, okay, I'm going to top it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to space. I'm going to run for Beyonce of the, BOTUS. And just, it was funny. But what I loved is at the end, she was like, all right, roll out the new music, which to me says she was teasing new music in it. And what I loved about that, and maybe because business marketing background, I loved the fact that it was a commercial that, yes, was funny. It benefited Verizon because it's showing like not even Beyonce doing all these crazy wild things can break Verizon. However, it also benefited her beyond just being in a commercial because then she had the, all right, roll out the new music, like a teaser that new music is coming. That was ingenious. If it's not coming, then I'm so confused. But I thought that was the winner of just a smart commercial where they took time and said, okay, how can we use this celebrity and use it to our advantage and to their advantage, mutually beneficial to make an announcement. That's what I was feeling. So some of you watched for the game. Some of you watched for the commercials. Some of you watched for, no. Didn't know I was going to do that. Usher. Halftime. I love Usher. I went to go see Usher when he first rolled out in Vegas. We went on Christmas time. It is a show that you need to see in Caesar's Palace. It is phenomenal. I love that he played the songs I wanted to hear, and he brought out some great songs I didn't think he was going to do. Something was missing, though. I don't know what it was, but I don't know if I wanted more. Something was slightly off. And I was talking to Scott. He's like, what do you rate that? I'm like, 4 stars. He's like, you're only giving Usher 4 stars? And I'm like, yeah, I am. He wasn't better than Rihanna. Sorry, Usher. I love you. Like, I love Usher. Yeah, man. Definitely better than The Weeknd, but anyone's better than The Weeknd. And I was texting with my older sister, and she thought something was off as well too. She thought it might be technical difficulties at the beginning, but something just didn't seem quite right. And then he seemed really winded towards the end. I don't know. Maybe I need to turn up my music more. But I will tell you this. Last year when I saw Rihanna's performance, I was like, okay, it was okay. But then when I watched it again, I liked it even more. So there is that element of, I think that I'm back to nostalgia, want this like moment. Like when there was Walk This Way, Aerosmith, and he brought out Britney and NSYNC. I'm looking for those moments, and maybe it's because I was younger, so it was more. So I just, it's different when you're younger. It's more innocent when you're younger. You have these high expectations. It was better than Justin Timberlake's Super Bowl. I'll tell you that as well too. Would I say it was better than? Because I want to. Would I say it was better than J-Lo and Shakira? I don't know. I'm sorry, Usher. Something was off. And I think if I had a candid, no camera conversation with him, he'd tell me it was off. Something was off. But I did love that he brought the Vegas. At the beginning, I'm like, oh, you brought the Vegas. You brought all the different elements, and like the skating and stuff is in his show. So I liked that, but something was not quite right. Okay, that's why I give him 4 stars. I'll give you 4+. I'm sorry, Usher. Love you, though. I'd watch it again. You need to go see him in concert. He is amazing. And then some of you came to watch the game. Some of you came to watch the commercials. Some of you came to watch the halftime show. By the way, Reba, you did a great job as well, too, with the anthem. And some of you came to see Taylor Swift. Tay-Tay was there. She was out and proud. And the only way the Taylor Swift story works most perfectly is if she flew, and then we know she flew. My dad said he saw breaking news he's like, last night I'm watching the game, it's breaking news. He's like, is that really breaking news? But also if the Chiefs win. No doubt in my mind, the NFL wanted the Chiefs to win. Not that they did anything to help it. I'm not saying that. But they wanted that because they wanted that Taylor Swift moment. And I have to laugh because the commentators at the end were like, you can tell that they really love each other. Look at the way she's almost crying, hugging Jason Kelsey. I'm like, okay, you don't need to commentate on whether you think it's love. Your name is not Jesse Palmer. You cannot tell me if it's love. is this love that I'm feeling. However, it was funny to watch them just follow Travis Kelce around after they won because they knew they were waiting for that moment. Like when are they? When are they? When are they? Didn't happen till after I gave their awards, and then they had their moment. And I noticed as well too, they mic'd that up. The mics were hot around it. Those camera crews. I couldn't quite hear what they're saying because the commentators were talking over it. But I know by today, I was like, I turned to Scott. I'm like, you know, by tomorrow, everyone's gonna know what they were saying. It's gonna happen. And poor Taylor's even trying to put her hand over her mouth. I'm like, girl, they got microphones all over y'all. You don't even know. So they both won. That was great. Good for them. They both had a great week. Super Bowl overall was worth watching. I enjoyed it. Again, I thought the game was a little bit boring, but overtime makes it exciting. There were a lot of historic kicks and things like that and records broken. And I hope that Josh Purdy and the 49ers, I feel bad for Shanahan too. I hope that they can rate, like, I hope that they let this sting go away for a moment or soon and bounce back truly. Also, Andy Reid might retire. So although you hear the Chiefs talking about their dynasty, we want a three-peat, who's your coach going to be? My prediction, Andy Reid retires because he even said, I'm just going to enjoy this moment, which in other words, if he's staying, he'd be like, I'm here for the repeat. I think that Belichick is going to take over the Chiefs for a few years. That is what I believe because Reid is retiring. Yeah. If I get it right, you can be like, she was right. If I get it wrong, you're like, she was wrong. And either one is okay. So that concludes the Super Bowl. I'd love to know what you liked, what you thought, why you watched. You watched for any of those reasons? You watched just because it was on TV and you're like, okay, I guess I'll watch it. Let me know. Today is just really for me a get back into the groove. I do have a presentation in like an hour. Okay, so I'll get life together for that. But we're just kind of getting back in the groove. You know, Scott said to me yesterday that our trip to Boston was perfect. And I'm so glad he said that. That does not mean it was happy-go-lucky, we're frolicking in the woods. Not at all. There were a lot of tears just from me. There were a lot of moments of, but it was so good to go back and he was showing me while he's taking me back there before. We've gone back a lot and it was good to just walk down memory lane in different ways than we had before. And really the funeral was beautiful and it was a great tribute to his father. And they did a military salute and played taps and we have the flag and things. So that's really special. But it's the end of an era, which is a weird feeling. It's odd because like even the Super Bowl, his dad loved football. His dad loved sports. And that's something that he wasn't around for this year. It's a new chapter and we'll work through it. And there's a woman who said to us, she said, grief, she goes, I hate to tell you this, but losing your parents takes a long time to get over. And she said, it'll take a couple years. And then after that, she said it takes more like 10 years. No one says that, but it does, which kind of makes sense to me because I remember there's a Sex and the City episode where Charlotte says, and I know it's out there, people say this, that when you break up with someone, just a breakup, they didn't die. When you break up with someone, it takes half the period of time that you were together to get over them. And that seems like what? But and if you think about that and then you take it to a further level, you lose a family member, you lose a parent that you came from that parent. They've been with you all your life and they're no longer there. And it's not even like you can call them up or like drunk text them, right? They're gone. Why wouldn't it take a long time? Why wouldn't it take why wouldn't half the time? It could. So we'll navigate that and grieve and celebrate him, Roger, and all the things. All right, I'm going to leave you. Lots to do today, but most important thing is just to be kind to ourselves. And I hope you're kind to yourself as well, too. Thank you, those of you who have already watched the video I put up on @RocksTalks and posted some beautiful, just sweet messages to us. We really, really appreciate that. Appreciate you all. I appreciate you listening and watching. And if you are listening, I'm getting them up, I promise, onto the audio sites. But this is the best place because this is real time. It happens. All right, y'all. Appreciate you. I love you. Go be great. And I'll see you tomorrow.